I'll now open up this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Would you all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Milton School District 2019-2020 budget presentation. I'll call the roll, starting on my left.
Sherry Gazer, Recording Secretary.
Erin Hutchings, Selectman. Peg Hurd, School Board Rep.
David Carpus.
Paul Carrier.
Larry Brown.
Tammy Smith.
Thomas McDougall.
Doug, do you want to open your meeting?
Yes, I'll open my meeting.
You already did?
No, I won't.
Okay. No, I didn't hear the others.
Okay, start down.
Okay. First of all, okay, now I want to, introduction of the school board.
Laura Dozer, School Board.
Paul Steer School Board, Doug Schutz School Board.
Now for the SAU.
We haven't finished school
Should I
board.
introduce our whole staff?
Yes, you will, you can.
Earl, and this is Nate. Nate, you can stand up and introduce yourself.
Nathan Castle, Financial Manager.
And this is our great administrative team.
Okay.
And we'll start out with MES first with John Safina. John, you can stand up and introduce
Right.
yourself. Then we'll move to the middle high school, Dan.
Okay.
And then we have our SPED, which is Melissa Jean.
Right.
And then we have our buildings and grounds, which is Bob.
I know.
Okay.
And Tim is on his way with his shorts on.
Oh.
That will be right here very, very soon.
All right.
And I'm Melissa Brown, School Board.
Okay, thank you.
I'll check my hand.
All right. One on thing, Mark Courier will be here, but he's gonna come in late. So, he should be around 7 o'clock. Okay. What I would like to do is go through the general items. And first of all, I have my list here. I gotta make some little changes here. I apologize. What I want to do is thank this board and this SAU for this book. It was well done. A lot of information is in it. And I would sure like to see the town work it this way. But the other thing too is that there were some questions that were raised by this committee, and I got the answers from Nathan. I'm going to enter them into the meeting minutes so the public can see what we have done. The other thing I would like to have is a procedural change that from now on we need to be a little more organized. If anyone wants the chair, wants to be recognized and to have the floor, you please raise your hand so I can recognize you. You raise it, you can answer one question. What I want to do is make sure everybody has a chance to ask them. And then we'll go back to the way we've gone. I want everybody to have one chance at it. And right now, I would like to go through with the general items. Nate, are you going to be giving that? Or is it you, Earl?
Hey, we're going to start out.
We're going to do that, and then what I want to do after is go through the book. If there's any questions in here that you need to have answered, there's a lot of information in here. And I would like to have the input of the board. How would you like to do this? I mean, go through the whole general items before you ask questions, or would you like to go step one at a time? If you have any preference at all? Okay, Earl, go through the whole list, and then at the when you're all done, we're going to see if there's any questions from the committee.
Okay, we're going to begin with a little perspective here. As you well know, this past year, the school district gave back $365,484 from the school budget itself, $206,109 from the SAU, $159,375. Repeat. Totally, the school district returned 365,484. From the budget of the Milton school budget, this was the, last year was the first year it wasn't a Milton Wakefield situation. 206,109, and the SAU was 159,375. Thus, the school portion in reducing the tax rate was 42 cents. The town portion was 21 cents, so that so that's 42 cents per thousand. So you can see there that through the work of the school board and the school administrative team and the staff, it was a total team effort. They were working very hard, line by line, as far as the school budget is concerned. And you can see in the past 3 years that predominantly it's been the same school board and the same administrative team. We've been able each year, but it gets increasingly more difficult to try to do that, and we are really down to the bare bones now. Nate can give you the figure on what percentage of the budget is mandated. Can you do that, Nate?
Mandated?
Yeah. Point.
Well, controllable is
Yes.
0.41%. Mandated was 2.27%.
Nate, what page you on that page?
20.
So let's discuss one of those exactly so that the committee can kind of put their arms around that. Why don't you start with the first figure first?
Out of the budget, we have controllables and uncontrollables. Controllables are what we obviously have control over. For example, supplies. Uncontrollables are salaries and benefits and contractual obligations, basically mandates and laws. And out of the 2.68% increase of the budget over last year, 2.27% is uncontrollable, which means we have no control over those increases, leaving only 0.41% of the increase of the 2.68% that we actually have control over.
Okay.
So I think that both the perspective of the teamwork that has been done that has put us to the current, to where we are now, plus an understanding of the overarching aspect of what we have control over. That goes for the school administration, the school board, and the group here in the committee. Also, I would like to state how delightful it has been to work with the group that we've worked with. And we feel very badly and very sadly that Mr. Wing was such an important part of the group, an important part, and we do miss Stan as well. Stan asked a lot of tough things, but I grew to have a lot of respect for him, and also Sean also worked very hard. So I'm glad to work with the folks that are here now. But I thought it was important to cite that because I do think that we worked with all of them well, and I did respect what they asked us, the respect that they gave us, and I hope we indeed gave them the respective back. So at this point, what we're going to do is, a group of us, we're going to go as we have done the last 2 years, and the team is going to go through each of the aspects that prescriptively deal with the areas that they are involved in, and we will answer some of the questions that you have.
Okay.
In terms of housekeeping, there's one other aspect that Nate wants to address, because the budget that you have, he received some new news today
Okay.
regarding health insurance. So therefore, not to confuse you with handing out a bunch of different stuff, he has the new budget for you to take a look at. Am I correct? Did you want to give that to them now?
If they would like it. So, I don't know how you want to play this. I do have the new budget.
Okay,
In the past, we've always gone by this booklet.
yes,
I got the health insurance rates this morning,
okay,
so I do have new numbers. It did drop the budget about $34,000. Typically, we add a 9% increase for health insurance
okay,
until we get the real numbers. Real numbers came in, it was actually a 1.8% increase. And that also affects the default budget a very little bit.
okay. So,
So I have both of those new, the default budget and the operating budget,
okay.
fresh ones.
The default budget is something we don't control, and while you're on at that, the legislature, for the people at home, the legislature had made changes in the default budget. It decides what's going to go in and what is not going to go in, and it's been very difficult. I know Mr. Shute has been talking to the lawyers about this to get clarification, because some items were not clear. I know I sent the budget committee the booklet, I scanned it for them, and I've read it, and it's very confusing, but I thought I would let the public know about it. It'll be discussed further at the deliberative session. So we have no control over it, but it's nice to have so we can look it over, because when it comes to the deliberative session, we can discuss it, even though we cannot change it. Doug,
But not only I was there, Peg was also there.
I'm sorry, I remember that too.
We were out. Myself tonight, I have not seen the new default figures, and I have not seen the new operating budget as of tonight.
Okay.
It's changed. And we have not voted on either one yet.
Well-
We do in the future.
Okay, what we can do is still go through the functions, but I'd like to get those tonight, or if you want to pass them out, we'll have to just go back over it again. Next meeting, we can do that. Right now, if we get to the functions tonight, what I want to make sure, the general items and whatever's in the book, that I want to make sure, because there's a lot of information, there may be questions from this board that may not be familiar with it.
Okay.
So, and the one I want to start with is the controllables and uncontrollables. Has anybody got any questions on that? Okay. Now, I remember last year you went through the general items, and I'd like to continue to do that because there's changes in the rates for the group, and then where it says health insurance, you can just make the change as you go along. Okay? So the people at home will see what is in here.
You want me to speak on that?
Yes, we'll go with that, and then before we leave, we'd like to get the other budget so we can look it over for the next meeting.
Yes.
If we get through this and get through all the information in the book, I'd like to start the functions. And that might be something we might need to have right here. Sherry?
Mr. Chair, I kindly ask that when you do report, please give the page number and the line. Thank you.
That makes it easier for her.
Okay.
Is the page number?
Okay, we go through the general items, and if there's any questions, I'll just watch for everybody's hands. But if we go through it all, then there's questions after, we'll answer them, okay? So we'll start with the general item on the proposed budget.
Okay, so the proposed budget that you see in front of you excludes warrant articles. We'll be discussing warrant articles at a later date. Support staff throughout the budget, their salaries are based on a step increase, which is according to the approved salary schedules. Teacher salary and benefits increases or decreases are currently in negotiations. Health insurance was based on a 9% increase estimate over last year's rates, but as we know, it's the actual, which is 1.8%. Dental insurance is based on an actual 2.3% increase over FY19 rates. Disability insurance is calculated by 0.37% of the individual salary. Retirement rates for the employee groups decreased from 11.38% to 11.17% over the current year. And retirement rates for the teacher groups increased from 17.36% to 17.8% over the current year. Based on the budget that you have in front of you, the proposed budget has an overall increase of $266,332.27, which worked out to be about a 2.68% increase over FY19. Obviously, the new rate, the new budget's going to be less than that.
Do you have the new, you must have the new number on that, on the new budget?
The increase is...
Well, you know, instead of giving us this number, you might as well give it the
Okay, all right.
update, it'll be a lot better. I'm
Yeah,
sorry I
that makes
should have done that.
No, that makes sense.
Because I was there, oh, it's okay, this, I'm still,
So the new rate,
okay.
the new increase is 2.34%
Okay,
over last year. And it's a $232,565.88 over last year with federal projects taken out.
okay. So you have the default number as well?
I do. The default is $10,421,276.91, which is $87,748.77 under the proposed, which is a 0.8%.
Okay. What I don't see here is, and I don't know if it's been done, but the bus drivers, they have gotten an increase. Have you increased it also? Do they have an increase?
Last year.
Last year?
All the support staff was last year.
Okay,
Yeah. So, and those are the salary schedules that were approved during the year.
okay.
So the rates now are based on those salary schedules.
Larry?
Mr. Chairman. Question. Were the step plans that you are using approved by legislative action of the deliberative session or internally by the school district itself?
The salary schedule steps
No.
by the school board.
Okay,
Therefore, they are not in the default budget.
right. I just,
That was a very good question.
it was very good hope.
Yeah, because as we go, Bob had touched upon this, both of you, Larry and Bob were kind enough to attend when we met and heard some of the decisions that Doug and Peg and the rest of the board, and myself, and they gave as far as default. And as we're going, there's going to be a lot of different questions on what falls in it and what falls out of it. And Doug and Peg and, certainly gone to untold times workshops and really made it a point to learn about this. So the more the budget committee is aware of this, I'm glad you pointed that out, Bob.
Yeah.
And, we're kind of in a new era. It's a new type of era. And as this time goes on, people will be more aware of to work within the parameters. So even more than ever, there's been a lot of work done because the difference between the regular budget and default, those things that might have appeared in the default or could appear in the default are no longer you know, when you have the corresponding increases. I'm sorry, I think David?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
I think he had his hand up.
He
I'm
did.
sorry, I kept on going.
That's okay, when you were
No, it's all
done-
right. That's all right. I remember when. Tied to his question about, so the step increases are determined by the school board. Those aren't mandated, right, correct?
Correct.
Is that, okay, so which means technically those would be in the controllable, salaries actually fit into the controllable things. Those aren't mandated by state mandates, those are,
There's an argument for that, yes.
okay. I just want to make sure that that made sense, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, that's actually a point well taken. That's another tier of, as you look at the different charts of what's in default, what's in the regular, what's controllable, what's mandated, you can get
Yeah.
into some philosophical questions about that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I disagree with any of the step schedules, it's just that technically would be in a controllable one, I'm just,
Anybody else? Have any questions? Is there anything in the book that you see that, there may be one, I want, as soon as I can find a page for it.
one quick question while you're looking for it. And I should have asked this even before this meeting, it's like you probably know somebody probably knows off the top of your head. I'm assuming there's a teacher-student ratio that is mandated, that you can't go above a certain number of students per, is that varies by whether or not it's elementary, middle, or high? Okay. Not now, but future, it would be good to kind of know, that would be a good piece of information to know, that way somebody can't argue, it's like, well, we got all these teachers, it's like, well, we have this many students, and it's mandated that we have that many teachers.
And we could probably touch on that as the administration can touch on that as they go through the various
When we go through the functions,
reports.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot easier that way.
okay, yeah.
Okay, what we're gonna do, when we get into the function, that's where a lot of questions are gonna be coming
Yep.
through. And what it is, it'll tie into the minutes, okay? I'm on page 29 for the school care medical rates. I'm seeing two different rates here, and one seems to be a little less than the other in certain areas. Which one does this, are we going into? Because you got the traditional plans, which is red open access, and you got green open access. Why are we using both? We are? Yes,
Keep in mind, this is current year's rates.
okay,
Basically, we offer the district the green open access and the red open access.
okay,
So there's just two different plans.
all right,
But for budgeting purposes, there's the guaranteed rate, and then there's the monthly effective rate. Because if you look in the paragraph below, there's a premium holiday.
yes,
So the effective rate is the rates per person with that premium holiday. And the effective rate, the bottom lower one, is the rates that we budget for.
all right, I see
So if we
that.
did not get the premium holiday, our rates would be the higher amount.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that one does. Okay, is there anybody else have any questions that? Yes,
Now, I don't
Sam.
know if you want to talk about what a premium holiday is. Or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Premium holiday is, rates are set by not the auditors, but the financial people at school care. And based on claims and everything else, they will set a rate every year. If the claims don't come in and there's money left over, then they give that back to the districts that have school care, and that's what the premium holiday is. So it's basically giving back the people who've been paying in. And we hate to say it's overcharged, because it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's based on actuarial rates and stuff, so
Okay, thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Tom?
So if I understood what you said correctly, since it's based on the claims, actual claims and whatnot, then next year there may not be a premium holiday.
Correct. I mean, they've had a premium holiday for I don't know how many years now.
But
quite a
it's
few.
not a guarantee
No.
that you can say, yes, we're gonna get $50,000 back.
No,
Yes.
and one of the reasons that the rate did not go up that high this year was because those actuarial rates or figures from last year were really overstated. Claims were a lot less, and so the money given back to districts was far more than it's ever been. So,
Nate?
Just to follow up on that, when we get the actual rates, they already have the premium holiday included,
Okay.
so that rate will not change
Okay, all right.
for that year.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in the book that the committee would look at? What I can see here is the bus replacement. Is this going to change? Are you still following this, or are you going to move it to warrant articles?
That is the updated one. We are planning on, the original plan was to purchase a bus and a van this year, but we've decided that we can go without a new bus this year.
Okay.
So we are gonna attempt to get the van through a warrant article. And we just pushed the bus to the following year.
Okay.
But the board still has to approve, as you well dealt with the warrant articles.
Correct.
Are going to be, and then subsequently to bring it here. And that was what they said.
Okay.
yeah. Going along with Sherry's request earlier, if you're looking at a particular page, if you could just do the
Page
page
40.
number, please.
Yeah, I forgot.
I
This
just
is
whispered it
page,
over to her.
40.
40. I'm sorry, that's okay. Check me on that. I gotta get used to that.
Thank you.
All set. Larry?
Thank you. To follow up on what David said and to bring me back up to speed, I know there are about 137 public school districts, each one of which is required to have a superintendent. And then there are skill set criteria that are mandated either by the terms of the grant or by the feds or by the state, like for nurse, psychologist, social worker, and that still apply? Oh, speech therapist.
Yes, Tom?
On page 31, where you break down the enrollment, what financial impact does because you list homeschool here, how does that work? I was thinking homeschool would be at home, not at school. Maybe I don't understand something there.
Page 31.
These are the whole school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that all the homeschoolers that are in Milton? Is that, or do they attend, say, an art class at the school? I'm just trying to understand where that, I would think, if I'm homeschooling my kids, they're going to be at my house, that they wouldn't be at the school. Is that how this is here? Are they not attending class? Well, I'm trying to understand why they appear here in the number of students at the school, and it just seems to me that they would be being schooled at home and not at the school. I just
I think that, in this, I understand what you're saying. They're allowed to play in sports. They're allowed to do productions, play productions. Some of the homeschoolers, like right now, we have liaisons. We have 2 of the parents that are liaisons to the homeschool people. So one of the parents of them has a tech. One of the girls is involved with tech and so forth. So they, but you're 100% correct. It gives the impression that they're full-time students, whereas they are, they're allowed to partake within the school activities, and they can partake prescriptively or do partake prescriptively with certain aspects of the school.
Okay, so it's more like it's a providing the after school things that kids can do for the homeschool students, such as a band would be the football team if we had a football team. It's those kind of extracurricular activities, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I get it all, I'll have Laura, then Aaron, then Mark.
So all I want to say is in the past, I have seen taxpayers ask, what is that homeschool number? So I could think it's kind of important that we put it out there, that we know it. So it'd be, you know, as in the town, this is how many we have. Maybe we shouldn't add it to there, maybe it should just be a separate column, like you're saying, but I think it's important information.
Okay, Jan had her hand up too.
Yeah.
She knows.
I just want to let you know, we do have a homeschool student who's going to CTE, so they do come in and take the bus down to participate in that. We did have 2 middle school students participate in the soccer team. I don't know of any classes, though, on the top of my head.
Okay.
The CTE class.
That was the one that I referred to,
Yeah.
the kids. I believe it's a cosmetology class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Aaron.
Well, I was just wanted clarification on that, like exactly how many from each of these grades actually participates, or is this just the broad number of the number of homeschool students in them? So are there 30 or 4 in 8th grade that are actually participating in, you know, classes or whatever at the I guess that would be middle school, 8th grade?
I would say obviously not.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're clear. So we can move that whole number down and out, basically.
Okay, you all set, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark?
Doesn't the homeschoolers, don't they have to meet with you with packets, with information on what they're doing? They just can't go off and, I'm going to homeschool my child. Don't they still have to come to your office, meet with you, show the curriculum that they're using, and
That's a very good point, Mark. From my understanding, that was the way that it had been done in New Hampshire. But now they have removed that requirement, you know, where they had traditionally come to office and got the curriculum approved.
Mhm.
But that mandate, right, Jim?
That's correct. They changed the state law in New Hampshire.
And so, but they still have the
All they
ability,
have to do is send a letter saying they want to homeschool their child, and that's it.
right, but they still have the ability to access the school for
Yes, they still have
different
access for any course.
extracurriculars,
any
for different,
extracurricular, yes.
whatever we need. And as far as special education goes, they still have access to all their OT, PT, speech, all that piece too,
Yeah, and they would have that until they're 20.
to 21.
Yeah, but I think that you bring up a good point. It kind of, one would think that you would keep what you had said, the curriculum for many years. I know when we had that in New York, and I was astounded. You know, virtually in person, all they would have to do is write and say, "I will learn them at home." You know what I'm saying? And they wouldn't have to produce a curriculum.
Mhm.
So I don't really understand why they changed that.
David?
So just quick, I guess you were saying about not having it in here, what, again, for future, what might be good is still have the number in here, but it would be good if we could somehow come up with at least a close approximation of what is the actual approximate financial impact of the homeschoolers related to the budget. Like if we just plain didn't have 58 students that were homeschooled at all, they just weren't there, what impact would that have on the actual budget in terms of, it seems like it would be small. I'm like going in and looking at the line items for the stipends for the sports, it's not a large dollar amount to begin with, and then if there's only 2 of these homeschoolers participating in sports, that's only a very, very small percentage of a very, very small number. So just having a rough idea of what the actual impact is financially would be something that would be.
That's a key thing, and we have in the last 2 years tried to really reach out to homeschoolers. I think John over at MES, you can speak to some of those homeschoolers that have come back into school. Some of them tried like a half a day.
They came in for Unified Arts. We had some that came in for special ed referrals. We had, I think, about 2 last year that came in for Unified Arts and that are now fully enrolled this year. So they've been an active part. We've reached out to them. We've had meetings with them, with basically the homeschool group. So they have been actively participating, and like I said, and now enrolling.
So, you know, David, we saw that as a real important thing to improve the base and to give the parents a voice and to let them get a chance to see what is being offered in the school, and those were examples. And in fact, Jan and her high school parent support group has homeschool parents on it, right? Yeah. So in each of the cases, and we've met with them, you know, Jan and John and I have met with them, and they've come to the school board, and they've come to the school board meetings. And it's been effective in terms of opening up the door and building up the crosswalks, and as they gave you some specific examples without, you know, saying names, we have had students return. But I think you're correct. We should have it as a separate, you know, a separate list. But I think it's a good discussion so that you're understanding the whole piece of this. And there are actually, over the course of time, there are some tremendous athletes and students that have gone on to college. And assuredly, you know, students with needs, special needs, I think it's very important for them to partake and to involve them and ensure that we reach out and they're getting all of what they need. So it's, you know, it's an interesting thing. I'm glad we're having a chance to discuss it.
Melissa?
I just want to point out, I think having that number is important because at any time, any of these parents can request it. They take a math class or a science class. If all of a sudden we have an influx of, say, 6th grade, 5 more students taking 1 math class, that could affect our numbers and force us to hire a new teacher. So it's good to have these numbers because, yes, right now most of them are extracurricular activities or whatnot, but it could be core classes if somebody wanted that for their child. So that could effectively change our budget if we didn't have that number and keep that in the back of our mind.
Okay. So, Nate, did you want to add something to it?
Yep, just quite simply, the reason they're on this sheet is because we have to report it to the DOE.
Okay.
And this is exactly what we report to them.
Just real quick, to follow up on, these are numbers where if you, as you pointed out, they can even partway through the school year decide they wanted to start, and you could suddenly have an influx of 7 more students. And given that you have a mandate of, on a teacher student ratio, you might have to. Okay.
Right, that's why I think that the numbers are important to keep in the back of our mind. I mean, I don't necessarily see 5 students all of a sudden, but it could happen.
Okay.
It would become more overt at MES, for example, where John, you would have a class of 24 students, and if 2 homeschool students came in, we'd suddenly have 26 students, which puts you in an interesting territory, right?
That's over the limit.
We have an influx of 3 this year. 3 homeschool students.
Okay, any more questions on this? Is there anything else in the book that you want to question? Nate, I don't know, I think we're going to go with the book, but maybe you ought to give us the updated budget, just in case. Because if the numbers are going to be a little different, I'd rather work on the ones that are different.
Keep in mind the changes are strictly health insurance.
Okay.
There are a few lines that FICA is affected.
Okay.
It's only like 3.
Okay. Just in case somebody would go through it. So, it'd just be a comparison.
Excel to it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let me help you.
Thanks. I had the Diet Coke.
Diet Coke? Probably if you want that. Thank you, Laura. Which one is that?
This is the fall.
Thank you, my dear.
Well, we'll wait till it's
I did.
Okay, so you all set? Okay. Since there's no more questions in the book, we're going to start doing the functions. We're going to start with regular education. If everybody would just look at page 1, is there something that is standing out for you?
Nobody cares.
Yes, Dave?
Just one question, and this is actually applicable in a couple of other places where you've got something like you're using a 3-year average. How, you've obviously done this for more than a couple of years. It's like, how close has that been in terms of
I'm pretty close. Yeah.
predicting out?
I mean, it's not dead on, but it's within reason.
Okay, that's on page 1 we're talking about?
Yeah.
The top, the substitutes, the salaries. That's what it looks like from here. It's all salaries.
The substitutes.
Okay. Is there anything else, like maybe page 2? Yeah, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, on page 1, line 100-1100, high teacher health, 1152-110-3. For Sherry there to get that. I noticed that it's the FY18 actual and FY19 budgeted were pretty close, and now you're up 25,000. Is that because of personnel changes? You're going to make sure that you covering what they might accept or ask for?
Nate?
Every year at this time, we are, or at least I, budget exactly what they have at this point in time. Of course, that's 8 months away.
Okay, yeah.
In May is open enrollment, so there's turnover, or if they want to change their plan, that's going to be the difference.
Okay. But because I noticed that, like, for the middle teachers and the elementary health, that didn't have that large of an increase.
Right.
So that's basically, okay, we're going to make sure we can cover that. We're sticking a lump sum here, basically.
It's based on what we have.
Okay.
So basically, if you look at this, any changes that were done netted
Yeah,
to
okay.
zero. Just happened that way.
Okay, all right,
But that is not the case for high school.
yeah, okay.
Just for purposes only, the budget you see before you is what they have now.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
during the year, that can change. You'll see these lines fluctuate.
Yeah.
Somebody leaves, somebody comes in at a lower rate, affects the health and everything else, all the insurances. So it's a moving target on anything in here.
And I'm sure you guys see it every month.
Yes, we do.
The expense report.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do see it. Okay, anybody else on page 1? Okay, anything on page 2? In the regular education? Okay, I got a question on this, on the page 2, line number 100, 1100, 55610-3, high public tuition. What, I'm more used to seeing this in the special ed. What is this,
That's for a student that was going to Dover, that was approved to go to Dover a couple of years ago. And she was still going.
you still going? It's still in the budget?
It's still in the budget, yeah.
Okay.
She was approved to go until she graduated.
Okay, so. Anybody else on page 1, regular education? Okay, the total fiscal year budget for that is $3,249,585.89. That's an increase of $52,581.93. Okay,
That's page 2.
the page 2, yeah. Did I do, okay.
On page 2, it would be the high supplies, which would be 56,100, high software, and high books digital resources. And each one of those has taken a hit of either over 1,500 or close to 1,500. And how close are you to a problem by that reduction?
I'm counting on donations, especially supplies. We get donations from the community that really help with the classroom supplies. The board asked us to cut where we could, so I went in and actually cut over $12,000 from our budget. So those are places where we think we can get by without it, and we know or are hoping we'll continue to get some of the donations that we get from the community.
And I did not, may I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I did not know that you have an active solicitation program for donations from the community. Is that on your website, or how do you?
A lot of it through church groups and through the PTA. They come in at the beginning of the year, and the community is extremely generous with backpacks, classroom supplies, pencils, things like that that the teachers are able to use. So they've been fabulous. And I don't actively solicit. The church groups and the PTA and parents do it on their own.
Thank you.
All set, Larry?
Yes, thank you.
Any more on the regular education? Okay, moving on to special education. Bottom of page 2, is there some from there? Then page 3. Mark?
Page 3, the elementary sped support salaries, middle sped support salaries, high sped support salaries. Your paras, all the paras are IEP driven,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
So they're only working with children, staff, or students that have an IEP.
Correct.
They do not get taken off to go off and substitute for a teacher. They don't get taken off to work with any other students. They're only with a child with an IEP. Is that correct?
I will defer to special ed director.
The one-on-one parents remain with their child. They always have to. If it's a classroom parent, they may occasionally be pulled for something else. But the
So
one-on-one-
when they're pulled, so in the SPED line, when they're pulled from working with a child with an IEP, how do we move that money? If they're taking, you don't have a substitute for the day for fifth grade class, the teacher's out, and you pull that para, who's a SPED, under with an IEP driven, and you pull that para, and you have her substitute or him substitute, you're moving that. Now it's no longer SPED.
Correct.
So where
If
you
they
move,
cover a class, they're paid out of the substitute line.
and so how are you keeping track of that?
Sheets.
We fill out paperwork, and I fill out forms every 2 weeks for payroll that shows who covered and what they got paid.
Okay. So again, that's all we have for paras in the school system, plus there's only one other in the high school, on regular education.
In regular education, yeah.
There's only one para, and that's all you have for paras.
She let her into that.
Yes,
There are actually 3 regular paras paid out of the regular budget.
You're right,
Yeah,
there's one
there's two.
in MES and there's one in,
Okay, good.
there's 2.
One
Oh,
SSC and
yeah,
ISS.
SSC. She's actually out of 1400 line.
Why don't you go slow so you answer your
okay,
question?
hold on. Sherry, are you all set?
I'm fine.
Did you get it all? Okay.
So,
Mark, why don't you just explain what those other two are so we
The other.
Yeah.
Well, I think it makes more sense to have regular admin.
I'm fine with, I'm fine
Yeah.
understanding what the regular ed paras are
Yeah.
and what they do. What I'm asking is, on the SPED paras,
Yeah, I understand.
where the money, and that we keep track of the money. Because again, if they're being pulled, if it's IEP driven, and they get pulled away to cover another area, one, where's the money trail? 2, now are we in compliance with the IEPs? But that's a school board issue, not a budget committee issue. Because when you do pull them from the IEPs, now you're in non-compliance. And again, that's a school board issue. So that's my question. Because it is happening, correct?
Yes, and I can tell you, I spend every 2 weeks, all of my Sunday afternoon, making sure that all the paperwork is done correctly, so I can get it to them by Monday morning, so there's
Right,
a
but-
big paper trail,
Is the money's there, the money's being moved?
yes.
yes.
And so we do know that, okay, that it is happening, that the SPED paras are being moved away.
Never a one-on-one.
Okay.
The classroom ones occasionally, but generally we try to take teachers to pull during their prep period to cover a class if we need a substitute.
Okay.
What's that, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else on, yes, Tom?
This gets back to one of the questions I had submitted earlier. Line 100-1200-51140-3, high sped support salaries. The notes say that you moved a para to regular education line, but yet I don't see that type of reduction in the budget.
Yeah.
Moving the para to that line, the note for that was the simple, this is what it is.
Yep.
It is more complicated than that. In the responses I gave you, it breaks it down.
If you send out an answer, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Number 11. So for FY19, we budgeted a regular ed para in that special ed line.
Yep.
For some reason, it's always been like that. And so we changed it. So we had that para, two one-on-one paras and 2 general paras in that line last year. This year, we took the regular ed para out. So that plus giving everyone their steps We moved one para from the middle school and had turnover on 2 positions. So there was the salary increases, there was moving someone out, moving someone in.
Okay, so
And then-
so the para got
and then
replaced
2
with somebody.
turnovers.
Okay, so
Yes.
okay.
So the note
so-
doesn't give it justice.
Okay, so basically, it was there. Somebody left, but yet somebody filled that position where they left.
Yes,
Okay, okay,
and I will fix that line.
okay. No, that explains why that number didn't go down like I would have expected.
Yeah.
Given that the line that was added was 18,000 more, I expected a reduction of $15,000, for example, because somebody got moved. But if you basically moved a general para and then brought in a one-on-one para, then you basically did a swap. That's okay.
Anybody else? I can give the number out now. Yeah, I got a question on this on page 5. The 100, 1200, 55610-1-00 elementary sped tuition public, middle. These were, I don't remember them being zeroed out in those fiscal year 17 and 18. Now I see $1 in the 19 on these 2 lines.
I guess I don't understand.
I guess what it is, why is there just $1? Is it because, well, first of all, what is that tuition public on the sped? Does that just give me an idea on that? Because I know you put $1 in there, but what would cause that to be spent, overspent? Or what's the money going to be used for the sped line? Sped, just the elementary sped tuition, public. I guess, and then there's non-public. What's the difference on those? I guess what I want to know. Melissa?
Yeah, most of the students who are identified for special education, when they go to other schools, it's usually a private school for students with special needs. There just happens to be one student who, years and years ago, while in elementary school, was placed in an elementary school in Barrington because they had some program that met that student's needs, and that student has remained in that school system, which is a public school system.
So I think actually, for the sake of time, it isn't something that we have right now, but in the partner program that we have in MES, there's a chance that over the course of next year, we would rent a seat out there. We currently have 5 seats filled. And so we have talked with the people in charge of partners, and we have talked with the school board. In the event that happens, then, you know, maybe for next year, we would have a source of income because they would pay to us.
Yeah.
So that would be an example of another school paying public school tuition.
Okay.
Because, you know, whatever the school would be, say Rochester or whatever, it's not that big. The point being, then they would pay public school tuition to us. So hope, you know, that might be a possibility down the line. Melissa's, you know, worked very hard. We worked very hard to network with other schools and with partners. We met with them like a month and a half ago. And we're continuing to look at that. So that might be, you know, it's like a hotel or an airplane, every seat that's empty is a seat that you lose on. So we'll still always maintain at least one extra seat for us, because we don't want to be in a situation where we have a student that moves into our district that, you know, it's important to meet their needs, and it's not fair to them to have to be transported when they can receive the assistance and care here, and we think we do a pretty good job at it. So we always we have a 7-seat capacity, and we've been very consistent, right, John and Melissa? You've been very consistent with 5. So we're cautiously optimistic that even if we secured another school, it would be a source of income for the district and then help us, you know, as we talked about the return of funds, and that doesn't come by accident. It doesn't come because there's fluff or there's phantom folks that we put in here. It comes as a result of people that leave the district, and we're creative in how we filled them. Because one of the things that happens is that, as you pointed out, as far as the bus drivers, the custodians, and all of the help, we were able, through creative use of diversification of positions, we shared the chart with you. Yep. We saved about $215,000 by doing creative things, but in the same vein, we had underpaid people. You have school districts around us that can't get folks to drive their school buses. Yep. Schools didn't start school on time. Even this year, schools couldn't send sports teams out. So therefore, it was very important to have the lowest paid people in the district receive a raise. Yep. But with that, is you pointed out, that raise can no longer be that raise correspondingly has to come out of the default as well, whereas before it did not, because as Larry said, it was board approved, and then we had Dave that went through the controllable versus not. But the reason I'm stating this is because it's a dual-edged sword. We started the discussion with how much money you return. So subsequently, somebody says, well, you return this money, then are you getting too much money? No, it's because of something like partners. Yep. Or somebody leaves, retires, like you saw on the first thing, the element, the staff. So if a person leaves and you hire a person at first step, somebody leaves at last step, or somebody is young and they only have health insurance for themselves, whereas you have an older person that, you know, at least has a husband or wife, may not have any kids left on in terms of insurance. So you're saving in terms of the step that they're on, and you save in terms of the health insurance in some degrees that they receive. So I just wanted, as you're asking the question, and we're in sped, you know, Melissa has really, you humanistically and compassionately, we really try to look at each of the students, make sure they got all they need, you know, because I certainly feel very close to sped kids. You know, obviously I've had a speech event all my life. So the last thing I'm going to do is ever shortchange a student with needs. But at the same time, we're going to be wise in terms of being in our contracts the best that we can, in trying to ensure that we not only get the best people to work with the kids, but at the least cost we can, just like you would if you bought a car or build your home.
All right, good. Yeah, I mean, this is, if the money's there, whether it's there or not, and the students need it, they're going to get it, whether there's money in here or not, because that's our obligation. So.
Yeah, we, you know, as Mark said before, we have to ensure that these IEPs are being done.
Yep. Larry, you got a question?
Yes, thank you. Again, what Mark brought up. In another life, I used to do Medicaid compliance for the mental hygiene system, psychiatric facilities in New York State. And it is not prudent or practical to be out of compliance on a third-party grant, which is one of the reasons you're seeing your administrative costs for the IEPs and the SPED program. And if you could just speak briefly on how you address the daily variable changes on an IEP. And I will offer you a proverb I just made up, which is, there is no tractor that does not lift the plow at the end of the furrow for the next part. And no para is for 5 hours of school day, 6 times 5, 300 minutes alert. So how do you adjust for little changes like that?
I think communication is important. So I meet with staff at least weekly on what's going on, problem-solve situations. We have various documents we use that we all see in the district that track, timelines of when things are due, and where paras are, where staff is. We can see who's where and how we can support each other and be more efficient in delivering services. We also track, our Medicaid system is part of that. So, tracking whether we have consent to bill, whether we have the appropriate documentation in the IEP. There's other documents that are required for Medicaid as well. My assistant, Jenny, is phenomenal at helping keep all of the little things in order. So that's like a general overview. I don't know if you have any specific questions.
But I think that one of the things to note too, and the school board has been made aware of this, her assistant as well, Jenny, they have been very successful and very prudent about getting the necessary aid back, the Medicaid aid, and also the catastrophic aid. So that really takes a great deal of time, and that's another cash flow that, although in some instances it's a year behind, right? Mm-hmm. It still comes back in and it helps the bottom line.
Melissa?
Earl, you're supposed to be lifting your hand. If I have to raise mine, you have to raise yours.
Okay.
But I wanted to point out that through the efforts of most of you, approximately $118,000 that they did get back from Medicaid because of their diligence. So she and her staff have been working to get us as much money as we can for the services that we do put out, because at any time our budget can be blown.
Yes, I've seen that.
So we do have somebody wonderful working on that.
Okay, okay, Mark, go ahead. Okay.
And getting the revenues back is great. Cat aid, getting that back is great, but that's not the budget. Okay, so I mean, because your revenue is not gonna reflect in the budget that we're looking at. So again, so when we ask, like when I'm asking the questions about the support, the SPED support salaries, you're budgeting that. And yes, having a program that you get a student that come in from another district and getting some revenues from that, again, it's not what we're looking at a budget. We still have to budget. If you're budgeting for 7 seats and you only have 5 that are filled, you have room for 7, you only fill 5, you still need the teacher, you need the aides, they're still there. And if by some chance Farmington says, hey, can we send somebody over? Yes, you have room for them, but that is a revenue. It's not the budget, it's on the other side. It does help at the end of the year, it does help if you're gonna give money back, but at this process, it doesn't do anything for us.
But I agree with you. However, people are saying, oh, if you're giving this much money back and it's over your budget, well, the reason they can give that money back is because of all the work that is being spent
I'm not disputing that they're doing
I
good
know,
work.
and I'm just saying, people don't always understand why some money can be given back and some can't, because it's specific line items.
But what I'm saying is, your budget, we're budgeting for, again, you said 7 seats. You're budgeting for that. Okay, you only have 5, there's 2 empty spots. So that's what we have to look at. That's what's being, again, when I ask the paras, they're IEP driven. You take a para away and you put them in a different position. Okay, did you bring somebody else in to substitute? You know, what happened? So again, that's a school board issue. If you're not meeting the IEP, that's a school board issue. My issue is, was the money tracked? Was it pulled out of sped? And you're saying, you're telling me it was, and you keep track of it.
We do
So,
keep track of it, yes.
yeah, okay, so that's my question there. So,
David, you had a question?
I'm just an observation. This isn't last year's, but your question about you don't remember it being 0. This is from a couple of years ago. This is the one that you gave me. And yeah, there's line items for 2014 were large dollar items. So at some point, somehow stuff got shifted around.
Well, it depends on what they have here. Okay, they're budgeting for what they have, not what they're gonna anticipate. And what it is, they have to put the money in here, because they gotta spend it first before they get it back. And as for the 5 seats, they have to make a safety so they don't overfill, then find out that we got too many, then they'll have to put them out of district, and it's not gonna help us any. They do keep a slot or 2 as precaution, just in case we get some of our own, instead of taking those from the others. But like everything else, you gotta spend first and then you get it back. Tom?
On page 4 of the budget, let's see, contracted services, basically 100-1200, 230-1, 2 and 3. I see a fair amount of variation. Is that because when I look back from actual of 17 to 18 to 19 budgeted and what's proposed for 20, especially in like the high sped, the -3. Is that because you're basically, that changes depending on what the needs are of the students that are in high school for that year? Is that why we see such a wide fluctuation there?
Go, Melissa.
Yes, I think since I started here, I noticed that some things weren't budgeted in the right place. Most of our services are in the lower grades, and as students get older, they get fewer and fewer services, like speech and OT is less common in the older grades. But yes, I did, one of the things I changed last year was I reduced occupational therapy time in the middle and high school because it just, the services didn't require that much time.
Okay, so the fluctuation that we see from year to year and from budgeted to what's proposed this year is because of the load that you see these services needing?
Yes.
Okay.
All set, Tom?
I think so on that one.
You got another one? Go ahead.
Yep. And then 3 or 4 lines down. Actually, the next line, that'd be 100, 1200, 53-240-0, diagnostic tools. It looks like the previous 2 actuals were in the $400 range. You're budgeting $750. You're budgeted last year or this year $750, and you're asking for $750 next year. Why would that be basically twice, just under twice, what you've actually spent?
That also fluctuates because from year to year, we have to look at what materials we need for like protocols and stuff for tests that we need, and tests may be updated. And also, we are fortunate to borrow a lot of testing materials from Stratford Learning Center, since our school psychologist works out of there, so we may not always be able to do
Okay, all right. And one last one, Bob, I
Go
think
ahead.
on this.
You got it.
And then the last three lines there, 100, 1200, 53, 300, 1, 2, and 3. Do we not know how much those membership dues will be?
I can speak to that.
Go ahead.
Basically, it's like health insurance.
Okay.
We estimate,
All right.
8%, but we don't always get, actually, usually after the budget is finalized, we get the actual.
No, okay. All right. I'm just thinking, you know, my triple E dues, I can tell you they're going to be year to year to year. It's, you know, I can tell you, 3 years from now probably. Okay. All right.
Anybody else? Is there any more on this bed? Visual ed? Okay, Dave.
Real quick, not specific number, but, or a financial number, but the list of students, do we have a number of how many students are actually on IEPs?
Yes. As a matter of fact,
Yeah, I recall you said.
there are a few
150.
notes on it, but you're welcome. Up here.
Okay, I remember you telling us the
Yep.
total number, I don't remember seeing the breakdown.
I think
Okay.
I might have even given you the guys that, I don't know, but. All right, so
All
just the top part. Ignore the scribbling.
Okay, for purposes if anybody else hasn't, at 7 preschool, 46 MES, and 52 at Newt.
And then these are the breakouts.
And then,
7 preschool, 46 MES, 52 Newt, and where students are I'm not going to say outsourced, outplaced, thank you. Phew. 1 at Dover High, 2 at Maplestone, 3 Seacoast Learning Collaborative, and 1 at John Powers.
All set? Okay. Any more on special education? I'll give you the new number. I'm going to use the updated one. The fiscal year 20 proposed special ed budget is $2,576,666.86, an increase of $129,051.52. It's decreased from the previous page, from the book. It's reduced. Get that okay, Sharon? Okay, Medicaid fees. Any questions here? Okay. Okay, 1,300 function, vocational programs. Is there anything here? Anybody got any questions? Okay, here, seeing none. Okay, we'll go to the next one, 1,400 other instructional programs. Before we do that, the Medicaid, I want to give you the numbers on that one. I'm going to give it from the new budget, 9,200. That's less than, less than last year by $2,646.38. And the vocational was $96,406.51, increased by $9,639.32. So we are under the instructional programs. Yes, Tom?
When looking at the vocational programs, specifically the insurance line 100-1300-52-110-3, that seems like a very strange number to have for insurance. It's an even, it's not like 52 cents. Yeah.
Buyout.
Okay,
That's the current CBA.
okay, all right, so you're putting in what, whatever, okay, all right. That just seemed awful specific for, you know.
I was just guessing.
Yeah, that's it.
Does anybody else got any questions on the instruction, other instructional programs? Okay. The total for that for the fiscal year 20 proposed budget is $202,124,096. An increase
Try
of
that one again.
Okay, I got that wrong, didn't I? $202,124.96. I knew that didn't sound right. It's an increase of $11,334.14. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're going into guidance, 2120 function. Any questions?
Just one.
Go ahead.
The note on the middle guidance ACH test, so page 8, line 100, 2120, 53, 220-2. The ALEX testing was paid out of grant last year. I'm assuming there's not a grant available this coming year. Is that why that increase?
That is correct.
Okay.
And that's a math intervention program.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Tom?
And I know we went over this last year, I don't remember the answer. Looking at the middle and high school guidance salaries from the actual 18 and budgeted last year or proposed, it's like more than doubled in some cases. And I know we talked about this last year, I just don't remember why that was, why the drastic increase.
Can you repeat the line?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, the line is, it's on page 7, it's 100-2120-511, 20-2 and 3.
Okay. Previously, we were allocating them incorrectly.
Okay.
You notice there's two,
Yeah.
there's actually two, well, there's actually 4 lines. 2 for middle school and 2 for high school.
Yeah.
So it's middle guidance counselor.
Yep. Okay.
There's also middle guidance salary.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it was always set up that way. I'm not really sure why.
Okay.
So I'm just trying
Yeah.
to condense them.
Yeah, I knew there was reason, and
Yeah.
I know I asked, or somebody asked the very same question last year, I just couldn't remember what the answer was.
Any other questions? Okay, everybody satisfied? Whoops, Larry?
That, no question, just an observation. When we do this again next year. It would be neat to have an introductory statement by category that says the guidance department as a whole for the school district has X number of guidance counselors. For grant accounting and other statutory requirements, these salaries are split as follows. These positions are served by X number of support staffs, one secretary, one whatever, so that you have an overview of how the work is done across the divisions. And I know, I think in the back of the book, there's a list of the staff, but
Yes.
you know, but
Anybody else on guidance?
Just one second.
All said, Dave? Okay.
Just, yeah, no,
Sure.
real
Okay, go
quick,
ahead.
I'm confused. Tied in with what was just asked earlier, why the large jump to the 54, and you were indicated that it was pulled, that they were allocated wrong. They were allocated under the middle guidance counselor and high guidance counselor. Is that correct?
The two middle, the middle school guidance counselor was, for whatever reason, split into those two middle school lines. And the same for the high school.
Okay. The part that I'm confused by is it went from, like, just to take as an example, the middle line was rounding at $16,000 and it went to 54, but the difference between that was not the 24 that is on the line item that got zeroed out. It's more than that.
That's also because the middle school guidance counselor, for whatever reason, was also allocated for the high school. So the middle school guidance counselor actually came out of 3 lines.
Okay.
And I don't know why, so I trying to fix that mess.
Wasn't the counselor, I'm sorry,
Go ahead, Mark.
wasn't the middle school guidance counselor partially grant funded
That's it.
back in
Yep.
16?
Yes, 50%.
Okay.
To go a step further,
So that would,
to go a step further, she was originally in the 1100s.
okay. So that
There
would
was a lot
show,
of fixing going on.
that would show the difference in
Yeah.
what he's asking
So
for,
it's
why
a
the
mixture of
difference
all
in
of
the
those,
pay.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened was, it was partially grant funded, and when there was, one of the guidance counselors left, she moved in to the middle school guidance position. So in effect, there were 3 guidance counselors at the middle high school. One of the 3 was partially grant funded in the DHS grant. And then she moved into the middle school guidance position. And the middle school guidance counselor moved into the high school guidance position. So as some of you are saying, there was a lot of juxtapositioning. So hence, that's why we're at,
Yeah.
am I correct, Dave?
Yeah. Does that clear it up? Because I can go back and really break it down for you for next meeting. I don't want any questions about this.
It's kind of hard to understand if you don't have the background as to
Yeah.
what we did. I try to give you an idea of the, what we did as far as going from 3 counselors to 2, and the fact that the current 2 were in the district, but they moved their seat to of what they did, of their job.
If you could do that, Nathan, for the next meeting, it would be maybe a lot easier to see.
So
Okay?
it kind of goes back to what you were saying, Larry, is that we now have 2 guidance counselors
Yeah.
with 1 guidance support staff, which is Sherry. And so therefore, you would have an understanding.
Okay.
Quick
Yes, Dave?
So, quick thing, I did some rounded math. I'm like, if you add up the middle and high salary that it was in 2017, plus the two numbers that were zeroed out, and compared that to the two numbers that they are now, it's like the difference between them is 7, and as you pointed out, it was partially grant funded, so it almost looks like that was almost a 0 in terms of increase. It's like the increase is basically the amount that is no longer covered by a grant.
Correct.
Okay, so that definitely.
Yes, Tom?
I probably shouldn't ask this because it might end up making something go higher, but I see page 8, line number, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I just lost it. 100-2120-52-120-2 and -3. I see middle and high guidance teacher dental. I don't see a elementary.
Yep, that's because she currently does not take that on.
Okay, so there's not even a placeholder for it in here if she was to.
The budget I print out doesn't show zeros for the past up to 17.
Okay. All
So
right.
like if she were to get it next year, you'd see that, and only that year,
Okay.
you'd see it for 3 years.
Okay. All
But
right.
it would be 0. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So the line does exist. It's just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured it did because it's they started with it too.
Yeah.
And I see guidance teacher and I see guidance counselor or guide counselor. Are they one and the same? Is this more than one position?
That's the lines I'm trying to straighten out.
Okay. All right.
It's
So is in this context is
There's
teacher
one-
synonymous with counselor?
Yes, there's
Okay.
one middle school guidance counselor.
Yep.
There's one high school guidance counselor. Don't know why there's 2 different lines for each of them.
Okay, because it's we go from guidance counselor and then you have guidance teacher, no, guidance, it's like it's the names, the titles of them, and it's.
Yes, Earl?
I think one of the reasons for that is that the guidance counselors are under their same they're under the same track.
CBA, yeah.
Okay.
So they're a guidance teacher in
Okay.
terms of a contract.
Okay.
They're a guidance counselor in terms of, as Larry pointed out, the knowledge and skill set and certification.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that's how I was kind of interpreting it. I wanted to make sure I was right and interpreting it that way.
Certification.
I think I'm finally done, Bob.
It's all right. I'll make sure. Any more on guidance? Okay. Place. New number on guidance, I'm using the updated budget. The fiscal year 20 is $321,051.24. That's a decrease from the other one, from $11,868.28.
Increase, Bob.
An increase.
Increase.
It's a decrease from the book form, but
yes.
it's an overall increase in the budget line item by that much.
Maybe I better close my book. Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, we'll go to nurse, function 2130. Any questions? Yes, Dave?
Second to the last item, page 9, the nurse replace equipment. So 17 actual was nothing, 18 was 845, and you've got 700 more now. What's the equipment besides the furniture and fixtures? Was there medical equipment that needed to be purchased this coming year?
John, do you have your book with you?
Mm-hmm.
It's got exactly what's in it.
A nurse.
Nurse equipment.
Replacement equipment.
Replace equipment.
Actually, I might have that too.
What the increase was, or?
What represents the 700?
Yeah, what's the 700 for?
You're saying that 2 years ago there was 0 and then there was 845, now there's 700. So you're just trying to ascertain what the 700 times
Go ahead,
The
Larry.
actuals.
It might possibly jog your memory if mine is correct. We did have a discussion about the costs of a new refrigerator.
I have the question answers.
Okay, Laura?
Smallware, thermometer, a scale, and a stethoscope is what she's buying for $700.
That's a thermometer scale, office stethoscope, batteries, replace recovery couch, repair refrigerator equipment.
There you go.
I believe we have the only audio or something, because high school students come over for hearing testing and so forth, so we have the equipment that high school uses as well.
Anybody else on nurse? Tim, you all set with that? Okay. I can get the right number on this one this time. Okay. The fiscal year 20 on the new budget is $44,000. An increase of $2,000.
Nope.
No,
Oh,
one up.
Top of the line,
Oh.
the very first line, nurse.
I think I better get rid of my
You
glasses.
tried, but
Okay. They better be driving me home. Okay, $154,259.98. Only an increase of $572.43. Yeah, maybe I better take them off.
An increase of how much?
$572.
Okay, I thought I heard you say 5,500.
No.
Wait a minute.
Give me a break. Okay.
Well, I'm a long ways from you. My hearing's not as good as it used to be.
All right, next function is 2210, improvement of instructions. Larry?
General question. Do I remember correctly that part of this is contractual for teachers' improvement? Or am I in the
The
right?
whole, oh, sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead, Nate.
The whole 2210 function is contractual. All 6 of those lines are.
Thank you.
All right. Tom?
When you say it's contractual, it's the fact that you will provide funds for them to do
Continuing
continuing
education.
education type stuff. It's not, doesn't
Professional
necessarily,
development as well.
yeah, but it's not, and it's you could spend a maximum of, I don't know, I'm going to throw a number out, $5,000 a year. Each teacher could
Correct.
for, something like that.
Correct.
Okay, so this doesn't, probably if all the teachers used the maximum they could, that would come nowhere near.
Correct.
Okay. And we're lucky in that most people do not take advantage of those benefits.
Right, we try to do actuals.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, the elementary tuition, the 12,000 we
Yeah.
spent this year is already over.
Now, I was gonna say, based on what happened last year, I can easily believe that. Yeah, that's one of the benefits that is not, most companies, lots of companies offer, very few people take them up on it.
Except in the educational field. They're more likely to.
Okay. All right, any more questions? Okay. moving to instructions, I will get the number right this time. It's $44,000 for the new proposed budget on the new sheet I'm using, and it's a $2,000 increase.
Good job.
I put my glasses back on. Okay,
Oh,
function 2220, library.
Just
Dave?
the first item on it, the note was move 2 tracks. What is that referencing?
Increased education. So the tracks correspond with the salary schedule.
Okay.
She
Okay.
was a BA 30, she's moving to MA, Masters, something like that.
Anyone else? Everybody all set on the library?
Good.
Okay. Okay. The new number, the number is $154,278.29. Is an increase of $2,655.77. Next one, next function, 2310, school board. Any questions on this one? Yes, Tom?
When I look back at the actuals for 17 and 18, and then look at what's being requested for, what was budgeted for 19 and requested, why the large difference between 17 and 18? Is one a more in-depth audit? I'm sorry, I apologize, page 11. Somebody throw something at me. It's been a long day. Page 11, let me find it again here. How about lines 100-2310-53821 and 2? School board auditor. Again, when you look at the difference between the actuals for 17 and 18, there's a fairly, it halved from going from 17 to 18, and then we're asked for more for the 19 budget. And just what was the reason for the?
Yep. FY17 was the last year we were SAU 64 with Wakefield.
Okay.
It was more in depth. It was not the SAU budget audit, but they did a more in depth because we're splitting.
Okay. All right.
FY18 and 19 we budgeted, if I recall correctly, we budgeted the same amount. And then they weren't required to be at the office as long.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the auditors are charged hourly.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right.
I make sure that they have everything they need, so they're in and out as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Okay. I've got one here that, page 11, 100-2310, 52-310, 1 and 2, school board retirement, 3.7%. There was nothing on in actual 17, but there was something on 18, and now there's nothing at all. What was that one there for?
I can't explain why it says 3.7%. It's always been there. It's actually kind of bugging me. But
Yeah.
The school board secretary last year for a short period of time was a employee
Okay,
making
so
retirement.
So that was the fiscal 18 one?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else on the school board? Larry?
Thank you. Nate, is the payment to the school board members considered a stipend or a salary?
We pay taxes on it.
Is,
Well, either way, there's taxes on it.
True, that's
is
true.
the, no, do FICA and,
But stipends, we take taxes out of stipends as well.
mhm.
So, to me, it would be more of a, I see those as interchangeable. I mean,
Interchangeable, okay. I did not know if that had an impact on the 3.7.
It does not, no.
No. Second question, please. The, for the school board treasurer, that is a non-contractual position. Is it, is the cost approved by the legislative body in March? Or is that at the?
Treasurer is an elected official,
Okay.
and,
You've answered it.
okay.
Yep.
Got a question? Tom? You had a question?
Yes, again, page 11, line 100-2310-53800-1 and 2, School Board Legal Service, is, given the changes that have occurred and looking at how much, I'm assuming that the large jump from 17 to 18 was because of the splitting from Wakefield and all that. Is 6,000 and 9,000 based on our current spend rate? Do you believe that will be enough for next year for legal services? Don't let people know I'm asking you if that's enough, that, you know, if you need to increase that.
I think they can hear you.
Not knowing the future, yes. I
Okay.
can believe it.
Okay, because I mean, that looks right in line with 17,
Yeah.
you know, and it's hard to tell because, you know, I understand that number's probably high because of, you know, splitting from Wakefield and all that, getting everything all settled. But, you just want to make sure that we have enough budgeted.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Earl.
without going into specifics, some of what would be done by council is being done by district administration and school board.
Okay.
So, obviously, there is expenses that aren't incurred that are
Yeah.
being done by us.
Anybody else on school board? Okay, the budget for fiscal year 20 is $52,140.13. That's a reduction of $1,344.97. Next function, 2320 SAU expense. When I gave this committee, I asked for the job description, so you can see what is in it. So if you have questions about what they have in there, that's why you see the huge jump in salaries. And I sent them out so you can see what it is and question any line that's in here. Any questions on the SAU? Yes,
So, being completely unfamiliar with up here the SAU process, are those salaries are not mandated by statute related stuff, correct? And increases, et cetera?
Salary is correct.
Okay. And out of curiosity, has there been any comparisons done in terms of, are these dead on with other SAUs of comparable size within the state? I'm just curious how we compare to other SAUs in the state that have like 3 schools with 600 students approximately?
Compared to within the state, it's actually in the lower end.
Okay, I got a question on this one, at page 12, 100, 2320, 51, 170-0 custodian. In 2018, there was 3540, in fiscal 19, it went below, it went down 3,200, now in fiscal 20, it's 57.30, 50 cents. That's an increase of $2,000. Is there something?
FY19 wasn't budgeted correctly.
It wasn't? Okay. So, you made it up with the fiscal year 20? What was it anyway? Do you know?
What was what?
What was the fiscal 19? It was 3540 and 18, and now it went down. I guess I'm just trying to compare the, unless you're just using that number and adding it with the fiscal.
Well, the first year was kind of a trial and error.
Yeah, I remember
We
that.
weren't sure how many hours she would need to clean. And then FY19, we shot low, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
And then I think FY20's more in line with what hours she would need to clean.
Tom?
Is that the same line, page 12, 12320-5, 1170-0?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Is that a shared position with other, does she do other custodial, or just takes care of the SAU?
The person it's herself?
Yeah.
She is
Is that a shared position? I mean, when I say shared, is this like allocating some of her time to do this, and she's also cleaning at, say, the middle school or the high school?
She cleans at Newt.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this would be the portion of her time that's allocated to SAU cleaning stuff?
Correct.
Right, okay. All right.
Mark?
So the increase in the on page 11, superintendent salary, the increase is 2%? And the business administrator, your increase is 5%?
Correct.
Okay, I think what you are taking on more than just a superintendent, are you not?
Yeah, well, we have, you know, obviously we've reduced our staff since we've become one SAU. There was 8.5 people in the other SAU. There were 4 administrators, and now there's 2. There were 4.5 support personnel, now there's 2. So the reduction in force is less than half of what it was before. Now in Nate's case, his certification market asked the question more than 5% raise. So we can speak to that. Do you want to explain your certification? I'm sorry.
In May, I shall be completing my certification to be a business administrator.
Okay, so then in May, so what happens if you don't get certified, then you don't get the additional 3%?
Correct.
Okay, in the business administrator, the lines that are in red is what additional jobs you took on?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And also too, going along with what Mark had asked, we looked at the $13,000 to what the business official would get in terms of that the retirement is because of the different classification he would receive. Right, did you want to touch on that?
That's a brand new mandate too. That actually starts beginning of 2019.
Okay.
Which is we won't go there in terms of the unfunded mandates, the single fund. But the point is, Mark had brought up the point, which is correct, and the board had discussed this, that do you put the, for the sake of we chose to put it in there in order to be open. So suddenly we come back here next year and the business officials' pay is raised. They say, well, we only approved a 2% raise. So going back to his question too, the entire administrative team received a 2, except in certain instances where more responsibilities were incurred from last year to this year.
Yep.
So does that answer?
Yeah, it does. I remember that last year there was a huge list, and then it continues to grow. So he's adding on more work on himself.
Well, also the main thing also is the certification in terms of the credential. There's a lot of difference between a school business manager and a school business administrator. And David had asked a question about it, and when you look at the comparative pays of what those two positions entail, the certification of those.
Yep. I got it. Any other questions? Larry?
Okay, I will possibly step out of line. I have been around on the budget committee for 4, if not 5, business managers and administrators. And there is one unnamed where I, as an English major, was mentioning ADP, and the business manager wondered what it was in terms of doing automatic data processing. I'm not that fond of certification. I am much more fond of competence. And when you can get competence and certification together, thank you.
Anybody else on SAU? Seeing none. Dave, you're all set? Before I do. Okay, seeing none. The number is $413,035.34, an increase of $19,049.07. Function 2410, Office of the Principal. Okay, on page 13, 100, 2410, 53200-3, the New England Association of Schools and Colleges cost for new accreditation. That's something new, isn't it?
Correct, that is new. School is currently not accredited, and we will be looking towards accreditation status. First year would be candidacy, so there's a fee to apply for candidacy, and then if they accept us as a candidate, we would pay dues.
Okay. Yeah, Mark?
How are you going to be accredited if Old Newt is not ADA compliant?
Yep, I already talked to, I I've been a chair on about 10 NEAS visits, so I know the people that work down there. I've already talked to George Edwards, the director, and said that, you know, there are concerns that the people were told back in 2003, don't bother applying because your school isn't ADA compliant. He said that their direction is different now. They're not looking just at buildings, they're looking at what's going on inside the buildings, which is more important to them. In the meantime, we have built the middle school wing. We do have a cafeteria now, which was some of the concerns back then. So he said completely alleviate those concerns. Really the way they're going is what are we doing with students, what are we doing with teachers, what are we doing with the community is more important than the structure still has to be there, still has to be safe, but what's going on inside of it is more important.
Larry?
You have that in writing, you have that is the case.
I do, and he's gonna come and speak to us. I can invite you guys to come at the same time if you'd like.
I would.
Because again, at the time, that was the major, they went through the whole process, went through
Absolutely.
everything,
That
and
was
that
2
was the
directors
sticking
ago,
point. It was
and,
not
and it's
ADA
not
compliant.
different.
The little elevators didn't cut it.
We would still get, they would still put a recommendation in that it's not ADA compliant, so they're not gonna ignore that,
Mhm.
but that won't keep us from being accredited.
And that gains us what?
Pardon me?
What does that gain us to be
So
accredited?
first off, on students' transcripts, when they're applying for college, right now it says accredited by and it's blank. It would no longer be blank. As soon as, even if we're a candidacy school, they would be allowed now to put that in there. So that would happen like immediately. That could even be for this year's seniors if I started that fast, but it'll probably be next year's. They've shown that accreditation improves property values, improves the town's property values and that sort of thing. So it's good for the community, not just for the school.
All set, Mark? Okay, Larry?
Thank you. Since it was a meeting we were not on tape, would you also speak to the 2 issues of classroom size the physical classroom size at Old Newt and the X formula of so many acres of sports field per number of students? Because I liked your answer on that.
Okay. Did you get a copy of the standards that I left for you? I'm going to say no. Okay.
I
So
hate pop quizzes.
I copied off Standard 7, which is the current standards, and Standard 5, which is the 2020 standards we'll be evaluated under. But there is no, there's no minimum classroom size or acreage for sports fields as part of their community standard. So it's more, is there a consistent budget that is approved? Do we have community partnerships with colleges and businesses, like with our internship program? That's more what they're looking for community. They're not looking at, you know, you don't have to have X square feet of sports fields. You don't have to have X square feet of classroom space, as long as the space we're using is adequate for the purpose.
Thank you.
Don?
Assuming that the accreditation goes well, we manage to get accredited, is there an ongoing
Yes, it's
fee, or I'd
$3,200
say fee,
in
or
dues every year.
how much?
$3,200.
Okay.
Let me pull out and make sure I get the exact amount.
But there's, the big thing is there's an ongoing fee and do they come in and occasionally verify that
Every 10
you don't,
years.
you say?
So we have to do a process, so if they came in and gave us candidacy status, then we would have to begin the self-evaluation process and write a report. They would come in with 3 people that would visit us Sunday through Tuesday, so we would need to put them up in a hotel for a couple nights and feed them. They will come back with recommendations that we will work on for a couple years. We would submit a new report, and then a full team comes to visit. That comes Sunday through Wednesday. So again, we'd have to support that team. That process repeats itself every 10 years.
Okay.
So the recommendations they come back with, we have to write a 1-year report, a 2-year report, and a 5-year report. By the end of the 5-year report, we should have closed all our recommendations, and then we kind of start the process
Okay.
over.
So it sounds quite a bit like our VPP start we go through. So,
I was about to say, it should sound familiar to you.
Peg?
Yeah, I just want to say, and I certainly have supported Jan in this because I've gone through 2 accreditation processes and actually did a visit up in Waterville. And it's fascinating, but it's also very good to see what happens in the classroom. And you're right, I mean, the physical part, yeah, okay, fine, clean up the hallways a little bit, but It's more what is going on, what are you providing for the kids? How are we seeing, or how can we see that the kids are moving forward? But I think it's a very positive move for the town.
Any more questions? Looking at the hour, I'd like to take maybe one more, because we have some business to take care of here, but, Earl?
Tim, could we do him?
Sure.
So he doesn't have to come back the next time?
Okay, you want to go to,
Because Tim's on the school board in his school.
hey, we're going to
He
transportation?
has a myriad of other roles at night.
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
Do you want to finish the amount for the SAU? Are we all done with that one at least?
Office of the principal.
Oh, office of the principal, that was it.
Oh, yes,
They
I'll-
just started that one, but maybe we don't start that one,
All right, then never mind.
so we can jump right to the transfer.
Well, I didn't give the final numbers. Is everybody done with the questions? I mean, I don't want to leave it empty like that. Principal, is everybody satisfied with it? Okay, then I'll give you the totals. We can always come back to this after. This is just preliminary. The total is $694,778.62, an increase of $32,289.57. So we'll go to transportation. Is there anything here we can look at? Okay, go ahead, Mark. Just give me a nudge. I'm studying some of this.
Tim, on page 17, sped transportation. So those numbers there, those are gonna be for,
Line number?
line number, let's go with sped transportation, let's go with 100, 2711, 55, 140, 100, 2711, 55, 140-2. So you were contracting out, it looks like you were contracting out for sped for transportation for those two. And then, so now, does it look like just the flat numbers? Are you providing most of the sped, or are you, when it comes to, how much are you contracting out?
Yeah, right now, we're fortunate not to, as far as I know, unless you've got a surprise out there. Yeah, right now, we're providing it all.
You're providing it, okay. So that's just in case, I mean, for what you know for IEPs and what you have, you're able to handle everything right now when it comes to the sped part?
Correct.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna need some clarity on this. It's page 16. 100, 2710, 51, 100, -1, and then -101. It's the, have I got that right? 1-01, yeah. Elementary sped transportation driver salaries. It's marked here, portion allotted to line 100, 2710, 51, 300, -3-01. What is this? I don't seem to understand what it is. Nate?
Has to do with the DOE in the MS-25 that I have to fill out every year. A portion of the special ed, there's a few drivers that drive special ed or regular,
Yeah.
and they drive an hour and a half a day or 2 hours a day for VOC. So I'm just allocating that time to the VOC line. It's specifically just for reporting to the DOE.
Okay, so that must be the same for the other ones that are marked the same way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just to make the numbers more accurate.
Okay. I think I see the notation here down below, DOE. Okay?
Yep.
I should have went a little further down, I would have caught it. Tom?
Yeah, again, transportation, page 17, lines 100-2710, -58900-1 and -2, transportation miscellaneous. When I look at the notes there and I add up the numbers, they're not anywhere close to what your proposed budget is.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Nate?
That MES is, if you add up one of those lines, that's the total amount. So the 1510 and the 2265 equals that total.
So you.
But MES's portion is that amount, which is 40% of the total.
Okay, so you basically, it's, okay,
You're right, I should have done the 40% with the notes as well.
Okay, so one's 40%, one line should be 40% of that total, whatever they add up to be.
Yeah,
The
I'll
other should
change
be
that for
60%.
next time.
Okay, all right. Okay, I was just thinking, we're gonna have to increase something here again to get the people mad at me.
No.
Those numbers don't match up. If I might again, Mr.
Go
Chairman.
ahead, Tom.
You have radio repair in there, on those same two lines, 100, 2710, 58900-1 and 2. You've got radio repair budgeted, estimated 1250, but yet you're putting new radios in? Or is this in, you're putting them in some buses, not all the buses, and some of the older radios have to be repaired, or?
Yeah, some we can't repair.
Okay.
So one's lined to actually purchase new ones,
Okay.
others are to repair.
Okay.
Anybody else? Tom, go ahead.
Again, page 17, looking at your diesel and gas, 100-2710-56-260-1 and 2. Are these contracted rates that you have, are they like state rates, or is this just a best guess estimate for cost of diesel and gas?
These are the rates that we got from the state.
Okay.
Back on whatever it was.
Yeah, 2018.
September.
Now, are these going to be good through next year?
They are not locked in.
Okay, so this is a best guess is what we got right now. Okay.
Larry?
All right.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Information collection. Seat repair equipment, hog ring pliers and vinyl upholstery, or DOT technical compliance?
You mean the type of product that we use?
Yeah, it says seat repair equipment 325.
Line, Larry?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Page and line.
Page 17, and it is transportation miscellaneous, 58900-1.
Oh, okay, all right, so it's,
Oh, the note for seat repair, 325.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the equipment piece kind of throws it off, but it's actually glue and patch stuff. We actually have actually a heat gun that will heat up stuff. But mainly that's just for the glue. Sometimes we actually have to buy a full seat cover to put on, but mainly it's the glue and the patch stuff.
Thank you.
Anybody else on transportation? Okay. You all set, Mark?
Yes.
The transportation on 2710, the number is $621,492.76, decreased by $6,716.04. The 27 line, special ed transportation, is 15,000, no increase, it stayed the same. What I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop at this point. It's 8:15 and there's some other business and we gotta talk about the next meeting, which seems to be a problem. So we'll start back. I gotta find what I was. The last one we did was Office of the Principal. Okay, we'll start back in. See if I can find my page.
13.
Okay, so we'll
12,
go,
13.
next one will be from operation and maintenance. So the next time we have our meeting, that's where we'll start. What I gotta do, Doug, you called me that we have an issue with the scheduling. Okay, I know the next meeting is the 13th, but now the 20th is not possible. So there's the 15th, the 26th, and the 27th of this month. That's all that is open that I know of at this time.
No way we can meet in December.
We meet with the town December 5th. That's going, I don't have.
Everybody's usually setting up those warrant articles, and the board is gonna need to meet at least once or twice to get the warrant articles squared away.
Yeah.
So if we can finish up the rest of the budget on the 13th, then, I know some of you people couldn't make it on the 15th, so we won't have.
Well, the reason I did that is because I'm trying to accommodate a board member who was unaware.
No, that's fine, but we're fine with the 13th.
Okay, but you.
Question. You're not going to be back in the office until, for the 13th, were you to make changes and do things you had to do? Are you out till the 13th?
Hey?
No,
It's a holiday.
it's a holiday Monday.
So wouldn't the 15th make more sense, is what he's getting at?
To give them a couple of days to get things changed and adjusted, but.
Nate?
Yeah, Nate. Because if you're off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then we meet Tuesday, is that enough time, one day to get everything squared away? I think if we had a couple of days, we could probably finish this in one more day.
You think the 13th?
No, the 15th.
Okay, okay.
Because
Monday's a holiday.
Monday's a holiday, so the 13th is the first day back. I don't know if he's gonna have enough time to prepare anything in one day.
I don't know why I put that on the 13th. Usually I can.
I think we moved it, Bob, if I remember
Yes, we
correctly,
did.
because
It
we
was
originally
on-
were on the 15th.
It was on the 15th. Like I
Right.
said, I'm trying to accommodate somebody because totally unaware that we don't have a steady day that we can go in because of the video.
Pretty much.
So, which one would you like? I don't expect the warrant articles to be done, because you got a lot to do, and then there's the teacher's contract, which does not, they have till January 8th, and I've got you scheduled for a public hearing the 10th. We have to see that budget. We have to see that, collective bargaining, we have to see it for somehow. But do you want to meet later on till December? I mean, I don't have my other calendar with me.
Bob,
Yes?
do you think, Bob, do you think maybe we could complete this on the 13th? Anything but the warrant article?
Once we finish the transportation, the maintenance section, we only have a couple small things on the last page.
There
We
shouldn't
literally
be
have
reason.
one major topic left.
There shouldn't be a reason to not finish it.
Yes,
Like
Harold.
Paul is saying, if it's more convenient for some of you people, Nate just told me there's really not much to change here, and we'll be in the office on the 13th.
Okay.
Are you okay? Are you okay with the 13th?
I feel confident I can get it done.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so you don't have any problems with the board members? You're gonna have a full board,
On the 13th, we should.
this committee?
She won't be able to do it.
I'm going to get my award.
Oh, okay. Oh, congratulations, whatever it is.
I'm getting my award,
Service award.
my service award.
Oh, good.
So they can't.
Congratulations. So the 13th, is it, what I want from there is we're going to go through the functions, the last of them, and then if the committee sees things that they want to reduce or increase, that would be the time to do it. We could finish it off the 13th, and we wouldn't have to worry about the 20th. So, because the 20th, you can't make it, it's going to go back to a regular schedule for us. We'll be meeting regularly unless I don't have enough board members, because by that time, the town will be giving us their budgets and a lot of information that goes with it. So we'll shoot for the 13th. Now, what is the holiday? You said it was
Veterans Day is.
on the 13th?
No, it's
No, the
12th.
12th.
Oh,
It's observed on Monday.
okay, we can't get this room anyway, that's why I put the 13th. If you look, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room here, and I can't bump these people out. I have to work around them because of the vehicle. Yes, sir.
So to review,
Yeah, sure.
we can finish this up on the 13th.
Okay,
That's it.
At 6. 13th at 6. Then we need to set a date for the warrants.
okay.
And usually it's out a little bit. We understand your meeting, as I remember, last year, we came in with the warrants
Yep.
the same night that you began with the town. We did the warrant articles first, and then you met with the town, because the warrant articles take less time, am I correct?
Yes.
So you don't mind a joint meeting, which I was gonna separate them, but there's
No.
not a whole lot of room. That's in
No.
January 3rd, if I believe. So long as you would go first, I know you don't have a lot of warrant articles. It would take a lot of
Well,
pressure.
we don't, but it won't take a lot of time. The point is December 5th, did you say you meet?
That's when the town, we meet with the town for their first budgets.
Okay, so what we're looking at is the possibility, is the proposal, do as we did last year. It'll give the board 2 school board meetings to review the warrants, We'll go first. We'll come in, do those, and then you can deal with the business of the town. Does that make sense?
Which day is that?
Well,
The
you
5th.
can get
It's
the
the
warrant articles
6th.
that early?
I have this,
December.
On the 5th.
you have the 5th?
Hold on. Okay, I had this marked in January because usually the warrant articles don't come in. The only thing I have to concern myself about is because of January 8th, that's the last day that they can collect the bargaining. And I don't know where they are with it. Earl?
So the question is, are we going to be ready, Doug, all the board, on December 5th as far as the warrant articles?
Okay, I can't do that because this is where we're gonna have our presentation. It's going to be a long process with the town. We're meeting for the first time, that's our first day
6th.
for their budgets. And it's going to take us quite a while to get through that one.
Okay, so we'll move on.
Do January 3rd.
13th.
Okay, well, usually that's 7 days before your public hearing. And I always wait. I think last year we did this. I don't have my other calendar with me. Larry, you got something to offer?
That is, again, I live in hope. My opinion has always been that on September 1st, either school board or town, you should have slot and filler warrants already prepared, ready to go. You have every single school budget and every single town budget you've done before. You know that school buses are yellow. You know what they're going to cost. And within that very wide window, it should be practical to determine what size bullet you want to bite on the warrants. And that's just my
Yes, Doug?
It's been a big change this year because of what they've done with the default budget. So we're gonna be doing something different with warrant articles. So I think you're gonna find you may have a few more warrant articles than you've had in the past.
2 weeks ago, there wasn't gonna be a warrant article for a van, and then the default budget came out. So a lot changed in past, within a few days ago.
But my presumption is that you have the boilerplate in place for the van that is practical, and what is needful is to determine whether or not it is going to be a lease or an outright purchase, the preferred vendor, and the cost. That's what I mean about slot and filler, and no. But I'm not trying to harangue and whimper, but just next time around when it's an easier world.
Oh.
I got that phone, okay, do that. I'm just, okay, so, Earl, why don't I meet with you and Doug? We'll look it over, and we can find some spots. I don't have my December one, but January's usually been January's been the way we did the articles, because the town, I'm sure, are not gonna be ready. They got quite a list to go through. And I have no, if we can do it sooner, but I have to see if I have a quorum.
Well, last year we did it the same day as the town. We came in first. I thought
Yes,
it
we
was right
did.
at the beginning of the year.
Well, what I was trying to avoid, one year we did that, and there was a group that had to sit there for quite a while because the warrant articles were big, and there's a group, it was either, I don't know if it was you, the school board, or the town, but somebody had to sit there for quite a while before their turn came along. I tried to avoid it. There is just another alternative. I don't want to have to meet on the public hearing at 45 minutes before the public hearing. I'd rather not do that. Just let me sit down with you, and you think you can have some of that ready?
What date? I put it on our next agenda. That's gonna be our next meeting. Okay? And then the following one, the next meeting, it'll be on there again. So I'm gonna do it as fast as I can. Some of these are gonna be totally rewritten because they're new. They're not gonna be like the old boilerplates.
If you have an idea, and then it's just gonna have to be written in, but will you know the federal, the grants that you're gonna get? Will you have that total by then? The one that's gonna offset the budget, the federal grants?
Oh, we already have that number.
We already have it?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember one year we were waiting for it, and
For that one?
I think it was, because, oh, never mind, it's because we were doing things wrong, then we had to do the corrections. If you remember, we had to have the voters vote on it, that they can spend that money.
Gross appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So, we'll go with the 13th, bring something back, and we'll discuss it, we'll have plenty of time to discuss where we, and I'll find a place, if you want to do it in December, it's very slim pickings. The town's gonna take us a while. We'll figure something out, okay? I'll come up with something, and I'll probably send it to Earl and Doug.
Yeah, Doug can figure it out. You know, the team.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's good at this, so. Okay. We'll come up with something. Right now, we're going to go into our regular meeting, because we have some business we have to take care of.
You guys have to adjourn.
No, it's not.
You have to adjourn if you want to go home.
Okay.
Take me with you? Take me.
Motion to adjourn.
I second that.
We're gonna need a motion.
I got it right here.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Okay, they moved to adjourn, not us.
I could
Today, we're going to go continue on. Okay.
I'm a school board.
I want
want chocolate?
Need a recess?
Here, you want chocolate? Chocolate?
No, no, this is fine.
I'm gonna take a piece.
Take it all, there's not that much left. It's only 4 squares, give Larry some, he likes dark.
Oh, Larry likes dark
Yeah.
chocolate.
Okay.
You ask for a Pepsi, so give him some dark chocolate and stuff.
Mr. Brown.
Look at his eyes. He perks all up.
Hi, it's right there. Take the top half.
Why don't you keep going?
I don't take that.
There was a note really that said people keep happy, and to the top of your
I like that chocolate.
No, I know.
Oh, I think he just needs to.
I know you don't like it.
All right.
Okay, school board, you guys need to leave.
I know.
Thank you, bye. No problem.
Okay,
In a good way.
we're back in,
Okay.
we're back in session.
Nice to have met you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, Larry's not here, but we're going to go through the financial report. Aaron is going to give us a
Take any
report.
questions.
Pardon?
Take any questions.
Right now, I haven't seen anything in here yet. There's one I did have, and I talked to the town administrator about it. They haven't submitted their bills, so that one there ended that one. That was the only one I had. Did you have the one about the town administrator? That
And
she
she
sent to
sent me the
you?
response for the,
Okay, because I,
yeah, I do. Oops, wait a minute. The Wi-Fi keeps going here.
I had documents here.
On the training,
Yep, on her line alone, there's some adjustments that has to be made.
right, the training's over, and the reason the training's over is because there wasn't a line for the budget committee for training. So 5 of those that went for the conference up there, the budget conference, were charged off the TA's line. And then the mileage line is way over for the TA, and the reason that is way over is because the code enforcement officer at the beginning of the year had a vehicle in which he could use, and then the vehicle was taken away and given to government buildings. So Brian has put in for mileage.
Yep.
I asked, I don't know if anyone watched the Selectmen's meeting Monday night. Some of you were here. I asked the questions for her to jot down. Those were the only 2 responses that I got in an email today. So those are the only out and out responses to anything that I have.
Okay. Does any members have anything else to add to it so she can report
If they have
on it?
questions, I'll be more than happy to get back to them.
I personally didn't see anything. They're within compliance. Some areas.
Right, we know, I mean, some of it we've, so to speak, beat the dead horse on the
Yeah.
postage and all of those things. The one thing that I did do finally is, again, I don't know if you watched the meeting the other night, but I got copies, and I don't know if I printed enough. Some of y'all got them.
I've got
when you were
one
here.
right here, Erin. So this is the one you gave me Monday night.
Larry, you got one the other night. Okay, can you share mine?
Did,
Because I didn't, I only. The well has been a very deep subject for a very long time. No pun intended. Sorry.
Oh, I hope it is.
I had to throw it out there. And can I borrow from Sharon? So I finally got in writing the validation for everything. The total amount for the well that was put in was $5,580.25. There was 2 bids. There was that was taken, which is choppy at best. And then there was the one that the water district gave us, which was a total of $3,641.34. But that doesn't include the loam, the seating, and all of that, which the other does include.
Okay.
And attached to it is all the documentation and the backup for it, so.
So this is
A
all
lot of
just
information
for
on that.
the
Yeah,
well.
well.
That was the one that was put in the Veterans Park. There is one thing I want to bring up. Of course, we have on the financial. I was going to have Mark call by phone. Legal says we cannot do that. I would have to get permission from the board to have him to go on the phone. It's not automatic anymore. I would have to get a motion to accept anyone who wants to be part of the meeting by speakerphone. So there was a legal advice that I received this afternoon. I was not aware of it, but I guess somebody reported it to somebody because one of either the selectmen or somebody, but it was told by them. Well, I don't know, but all I know is.
Who did you hear that from?
Well, our town administrator talked to me about that in case we were going to do this tonight. It has to be the board approval before we can do it. That's why I emailed you back, because I said, if you do, I got to get a motion from the board to accept that, even though it's going to be speaker.
But it can be done the night of the meeting.
Yeah, but I still have to get permission from the board to accept that, because some may not want this, and it'll be the majority of the rule. This was all new to me, so I emailed Mark, said, whatever we're going to do, we'll do it. I just want to bring that out, because that means we'll have to change the bylaws next year. But we can make an application here if we want to do that. But yes, Tom?
Karen, two questions. One, for making the motion to accept having somebody do it by phone, I think that'd be hey, I'm going to make a motion. I don't think that would be a big deal at all. No. But I more to the point here on the estimate or the papers that Aaron just handed out. Does the town not have a backhoe?
Not have a backhoe.
They rented the backhoe. Doesn't the highway department have a backhoe?
They rented one, so I don't know if it was down. I can ask Pat Smith. I think he's on vacation right now.
Seems, and maybe it was whoever it was they had that did the job. But I mean, if this was, that would have. Yeah,
no, I'm pretty sure it was our guys that were out there operating it.
Yeah,
because I remember going by in the morning.
I would think that the town would certainly have a backhoe. I mean, if we've got a $40 million grader, I hope we've got a backhoe that we can dig a hole in.
Yes. More to the point. The second bid that you indicated specifically just said it didn't include the grass or the loam. Looking at it, it does appear it took into account everything else in terms of the drilling, the electrical. Only didn't include the grass and the loam.
Right.
Well, if you look at the breakdown of the from the 5,580, the grass and the loam only totaled $764.
Right, and I'm not saying that the price wasn't cheaper. I'm just saying that there was 2 bids that were received.
Okay.
I was not a select person at that time. I have no control over it. This was 2 years ago.
Yep.
It's information that has been asked for since the beginning of the year that was
finally obtained
and documented. So I'm sharing it.
Okay, Larry was first.
Responding to the select woman's earlier comment about it being a deep subject, this is now all water down the well.
I hope so.
Hey, Mark.
I know we jumped from the phone conversation.
I know.
Back to Taylor Rental and the backhoe, and the Veterans Park. Okay, that has a water sprinkler system in it now. So I'm gonna guess the town does not have a trenching which would lay down the lines for a sprinkler system. Maybe I'd have a backhoe, which is a little bit overkill to lay if you're going to lay down lines for a sprinkler system. So that's from. I know they wrote backhoe, but I'm gonna guess it's more of a trenching to lay down for a sprinkler system.
Okay, but there was a company that did that.
Right, they did that gratis.
They did that right there for us for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay, now I just want to get back to the expenditure report. There is no questions in it for Aaron.
Well, there were a lot of things that are over. I mean, I don't know. I know you had sent something out that you had received all sorts of backup.
You
And
you
I did
receive-
look at it, but I did not bring all of that stuff with me tonight to cross-check. So I'll just leave it there, some things over.
Okay, I just wanted to get this done and get this report, because it's not gonna be on the next agenda. Okay, now, if everybody's satisfied with that, we have the approval of minutes of October 16th. I do not have a copy with me. I did not have them finished, so if, we may have to table these. Okay, so we'll table them to the next meeting, because I did not get them printed out.
Motion
Okay.
to table.
Okay, I need a motion to
Second.
table. Okay,
Motion to table, second.
all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any other business that may come before the board? Is there anything coming up? Tom?
I'd just like to remind everybody that when sending the, it's, most of us are used to working in an office environment where you can just email anybody. Can't do that when you're on the board of select, or when you're on one of these public boards, because when everybody gets the email, that's now a public meeting. We gotta be very careful of that.
Yep.
That's why I try to send it to, if you have a question, you want somebody to forward something, send it to one person. I've been sending stuff to the chairman, let him forward it off to those that need it. I'd be very careful about responding to all. Reply to all, just hit reply if you're sending, because as soon as you hit reply to all, now we just had a meeting. And, you know, somebody gets their, you know, we could find ourselves with 91A requests because somebody wants to see our emails. And they're more than welcome to go through my 15 gigabytes worth of spam that I've got in Google, but in Gmail.
That may have been my fault, Tom, because what is, I shared the information to you, and what it is, they piggyback on it.
But it's just as easy as just hitting reply,
Yeah.
not reply all.
Okay.
And then it would just go back to you if you were the assessor, or if it was I,
Yeah.
it would just come back to me and not everybody. Just remember that, you know, we can get into hot water for not.
Yes, we can. Larry, you all set, or?
Well, I'm waiting for the question and comments from the public.
Yeah, but you're on the board.
I'm bored. Well.
Questions on comments? Yeah. Go ahead, Larry.
We're the last meeting before Veterans Day, which is going to be on the 11th. It's going to be at 1 p.m., not at 11:11. And one of the reasons for that is that people, if they wish, can attend a church, and people, if they do not wish, do not. And that is just still a wonderful thing. I heard on Maine Public Radio, from the time the armistice was signed at 5:30 in the morning until the final 11:11:11, 8,500 troops were killed, more than at D-Day of the invasion. And the war was basically over, and that many people died. Veterans Day.
Anybody else? Okay.
Aaron.
No, it's a moot point now. So.
The next meeting, obviously, is November 13th, 6 o'clock here. Okay, we're gonna start with the operation and maintenance. And at that time, if we get done, and if there's someone that wants to go back to the function to make adjustments to it, that's the time to do it, so we can finalize this budget. Everybody all set with that? Take a look one more time. And I guess that's it. Motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to
Second.
adjourn.
Motion by Peg and second by Larry. All those in favor?
Aye.
At 8:43.
Here, Ma.
Hey, Aaron, do me a favor, don't go anywhere. I don't know how to lock that door.
So, yeah.